Hello, everyone. Welcome to Enjoy the Book of Life. We've got a resource review today where we're going to be looking at another electronic Bible study help. So, turning it over to Silas, could you tell us a little bit about what this resource is and how do you use it?
The resource is eSword. I've been using it for over 10 years, probably like 15 years or so. It's a free download, although obviously it's always good to give if you're able to, because nothing is actually free. It costs them
Right.
money to host these resources and etc. Should I share my screen now?
Yes, yeah.
So it's a free resource, and they have a lot of open source resources that go along with it, both Bible commentaries, dictionaries, and Bible translations. So what's nice about eSword is that if you click on a particular verse, like you can pull it up this way and navigate through. So if you want Ephesians chapter 1, or you can search for a particular reference or a word that comes up in whatever translation that you remember it in or think you remember it in. Um, and um, and then what's cool, like if you have Ephesians chapter 1 verse 2 and you press compare, this is one of my favorite things,
Mm,
is that you see the same verse in every single version that you have downloaded.
okay.
Especially like I like paraphrased versions. I don't like them as my primary reading, but they can be really helpful. I think everyone that I think it's the Phillips I downloaded on this version of eSword that I have. But all of the different ones, ISV is a good one that I like as a comparison version. I would never read it as a primary version. And sometimes you can see the different wordings between things, and they can really help understand a difficult topic.
Mm.
It's always you want to use caution with that type of interpretation, because just because you found a version that says what you want it to say does not mean it's correct. But sometimes if it's simply a rewording of something, that
Yeah.
can really
I,
explain it.
I I found that especially helpful through the poetic books.
Right.
Looking at that, sometimes there's some old phrasing, some old idioms, things like that that are put in certain translations. That when you compare it, it can be like, oh yeah, that makes sense. Yeah,
Right. Or if you're seeing the same phrasing in all of them, you're like, okay, it's not the translation that's
right.
broken, it's me.
Yeah.
Um, the parallel version I don't use nearly as much, but you can see the entire translations like verse by verse, and you can go through, whereas the compare is just one verse at a time.
Okay.
So if I go back to my let's do the New King James version, which is the copyrighted versions are available for purchase for pretty reasonable prices if you really want those in there as well.
Okay.
Um, Years back, I bought a bundle of not Strong's was included. It was Vines. Vines, which is a Bible dictionary,
Mm-hmm.
or word dictionary, and then a the New King James and the Believer's Bible commentary. So Bill McDonald's commentary on the entire Bible. All of that, I think it was like 20 something dollars.
Wow. Wow.
And the access codes that I bought over 10 years ago still work when install it on a new device. So
Oh, good. Good.
um so yeah, definitely would recommend, like, if you're willing to invest, maybe 50 to $100, you could probably get your few favorite
Yeah.
translations and resources that then will accompany everything else as well. There's a few other things that you can use. These things I don't personally use, like journal notes, study notes, and topic notes. And what's cool about these, although I don't personally use them, is that they are linked to the particular Bible verse. So if you have a note that you want to put in Ephesians 1:1-2 just for yourself, maybe a devotional thought that you want to remember, you'd put it in the journal notes. Just make sure you've selected the verse. And if you put it in there, then the next time you go back there, there'll be a timestamp. You'll see that there. a
Okay.
timestamp, and then the actual thought will come up. And then again, study notes and topic notes, and you can use them in any way you want, obviously. But the idea is there's three different places where you can take notes on a particular verse or chapter that are linked to that, and you can use them in different ways.
It would be the same as writing in the margins of your Bible, so that when you flip to the same passage, they're right there for you. But this way, when your Bibles wear out, you don't have to transfer all your notes.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly. Um, and so one of the other features that I really like using is the KJV plus, which is has the Strong's numbers in it. And Strong's obviously he indexed all of the Hebrew and the Greek words, and God bless his soul for doing that for us. And each of the unique instances of a particular word in the Hebrew. And they're hyperlinked. So if you scroll over them, then the his definition will come up. You can also click on it, and then the G3 972. Every dictionary that you've downloaded down here that has a reference that has that reference number, it will show up. So in
Okay.
this case, obviously the Strongs will show up as the first one. And then these other dictionaries here, the KJC, I don't even know what that stands for. The Mons and the Thyers, which I do use Thyers at times. They all use the Strong's number, and so that comes up there. And what's also nice is that if you go to let's take the word grace, G5485, and then you go to quick search and you say entire Bible. It doesn't matter because it's just G. It's just going to search the New Testament anyway.
Right.
You press that, and every instance of it will come up there, which is really really nice. And obviously, you could copy and paste this, or print it if you're um, if you're so inclined to do that.
Yeah.
Um, yeah, so there that's the Strong's and then if you're so there's a lot of helps with the Hebrew and the Greek and things like that. And then also like if you click on the word grace, for example, you'll notice all these exclamation points kind of explode. So every time then the word grace comes up, like the grace of God, here's Nave's references. And all of these references are hyperlinked. So then I can go, okay, well, what is Revelation 3:10? And it'll bring me there,
Yeah.
and you can just click back here to get to your original verse there and go to another dictionary. And here's grace, charis, and all the different like extensive things. And if that's too hard to read, this is the dictionary. So you go up here to press to D, and you press D for dictionary, and you can get it full screen. And I believe you can print any of these and copy and paste it, and all of the rest. And if you no longer want things to be synced with the passage, you just like to look through that book. I believe yes, and um, you can go to the dictionary topics here, and then everything will come up, and you can look through it just like a normal book. Um,
Okay.
I I rarely I rarely use it in that way. See, there here they are all on the side here, and you
Yeah.
can simply look through it that way. So you go back here to the split screen. And the other really useful thing is that the commentaries are all hyperlinked as well. So any commentary that mentions a chapter 1 verse 2, or at least Ephesians chapter 1, sometimes it's just by the chapter. Some of the commentaries are written that way, but then the little exclamation point will come up and it's turned to that page in all of the commentaries. So it's really
Yeah.
useful. Um, so if you want Matthew Henry's concise commentary, here it is in that. If you want the Jameson Fawcett Brown, here 4 verses that he has, the Expositor's Bible, etc. And then again, if you press the C button, you get just the commentaries window. And this is linked by the verse comments, but if you want the entire chapter, you'd click this. And if you want higher, like if they have comments on the entire book of Ephesians, then you'd click that, and that would narrow down because some might not have a general comments on the book of Ephesians.
I like
So
how
just
just a little comment here from watching you maneuver. Like when you hover over the B and the C over there, like it seems a little cryptic, but just as you hover, boom, it tells you
yeah,
exactly what each of these buttons mean. Because at first it looks fairly overwhelming. Like what's the B, the C, the D, the E? What are all these different buttons and numbers and what do they do? But they have made it so that if I get in and I start playing around a little bit, pressing buttons, it seems like it'll explain itself pretty well.
yeah, I I feel like it's pretty intuitive. I think one of the more challenging, well, getting the different Bible commentaries, you'd go to the download and go to Bibles. And this is the part that they could probably make a little bit more intuitive. So then you'd click on this, like if I wanted a faithful version, which I don't, but I'll download it anyway. So then it downloads it here, and then once you exit out and go back in, then you'll see that
Okay.
particular version appear. So you just go to each of these, and these are all of the ones that are in the public domain. If you want to buy any of the premium ones, you'll see premium, and you'd click on this, and I think that would hyperlink you to their website, and you'd have to go in and purchase it, or you could just go
Okay.
to eSword and purchase it, and they'll give you an access code. That part's not as intuitive, but it is a free software, so
Right.
stop
Right.
complaining. Yeah. Um, so let's see, restart. I'm not restarting eSword right. So then again, you're in the split screen here. You can do a search, and you can also search, I think you can use regular Boolean search terms, if you use the and the or and things like that.
Yeah.
You can also do a partial match. So if you wanted like for forgive, and you want to forgive and forgiveness, if
Yeah.
you click partial match, that should that should do the trick, and then you press enter. Yes.
Yeah.
Then we've got forgive, forgive in, so that can be really useful as well. Or if you're like, I don't want forgiveness, then you can use the exclusion there as well. And you're like,
Yeah.
I know that was in somewhere between Peter and Revelation. Um, regular search things, nothing really
Yeah.
particularly earth-shattering, but it does have that capability to do all that pretty easily, and it all links together very well. And you can download it all, so you don't have to have the internet available to you to use it once you have it
Yeah.
all set up, which is nice.
That's handy. That I mean, just that little feature there, the fact that it's downloaded.
Yeah,
You're on a car ride and you have your laptop charged. Just to be able to, you've got all your commentaries, your notes,
right.
all that sort of thing. It's one less hurdle that you need to jump to access the tool, which can be um quite a benefit, quite a bonus.
Yeah. So I find it useful. There's a few other things that I don't use too much, but that do exist. Is this thing called the graphics viewer where you can get different types of maps and things like that.
Okay.
So I've not personally used this very much. I have a few paper Bible indexes and things like that. This I don't know why I downloaded it. It's like different like charts. I'm sure they're interesting. But I don't think I'll ever use these, but they are there. There's some
Yeah.
interesting like old timey kind of charts, which I'm sure are really rich and interesting and things like that. But I personally have never really done much with all of these types of things. So
So where does someone go if they wanted to download this? Where do they go for something like
you
this?
let's go to the about section. So we go to www.e-sword.net slash, well, just e-sword.net.
Okay.
And it's been around for forever, since 2000. And yeah, I get 50% of all of the free purchases, so
Right.
remember that. Full disclosure. Um, and yeah, it's pretty easy. It's downloads. It's not a heavy application. I found it's worked on every single laptop I've ever put it on pretty easily. I don't know that if they have a mobile. I haven't even looked at that. Oh, they do. They have a paid mobile app for $3 on Android. So
Okay.
whether it's any good or not, I don't know. I know that $3 is a big hurdle to get over when Blue Letter Bible is free.
Yep.
So I don't know. I can't attest whether it's actually worth the $3. I would be interesting to know. Well, you don't create an account, I don't think. So it's not, I don't think it would sync between your computer. So I'm
Right.
not sure whether it would be worth the heavy price of the $3 or not. So I can't speak to the mobile app, but there is one for Android.
Right. Right. Well, good. I think a lot of good resources here. Like you said, easily maneuverable, and if it seems overwhelming, because the split screen itself can seem a little overwhelming to people, but I think navigation wise, as you kind of click around and see what there is, I think it clears up pretty easily, pretty quickly, just after this short tutorial. I think most people would be able to navigate around it pretty easily. And like you said, a lot of things come with it when you download it. And then there are those other add-ons that you can get, especially things that you particularly want.
Right, right. And I find it useful, particularly when you're doing word searches, or if you really want um um a lot of different opinions on one particular passage. It really is nice for that as well. Because
Yeah,
it'll tell you which ones have comments on that particular passage, and it's all turned to that. So that's really
yeah. I,
helpful.
I like how you said that. They're all turned to the right page. It's like all your books were open to the right page magically
Right,
for you. Yeah. Yeah.
right.
Well, good. I think real helpful resource. We'll put the link for the website in the description so that it's one less step for folks. They can just click on it and go download it and see how they like it for themselves. But I think overall, really helpful resource. Really ties in a lot of other tools and makes them accessible.